Hey there, everyone. It's me, Frank, the Blockbuster guy. And before we dive on into this new episode of STHD, I'd like to take a quick moment and apologize for lack of content. It's been a month since the last episode, and we were supposed to have this up a lot sooner, but there have been a lot of technical difficulties when it comes to some minor complications in scheduling, but the main problem was recording and microphone issues. But luckily, all that has been fixed. We re-recorded everything, and as they say, the third time is the charm. Now that all those issues are done, I'm hoping to get the next set of episodes done a lot sooner, and I promise in the future the next set of episodes will not take more than a month to actually produce. But try to get them done as soon as possible, and if they really take that long, I promise the content will be golden, or at least be super, or at least way past cool. Now there's one last thing I'd like to mention real quick before passing it on to past me, Natasha, and Dominic. When it came to the last episode, when we talked about characters, we tended to not only just talk about the characters, but we also talked about the Archie counterparts on the side with mentioning the characters. Now, in this episode, we kind of did that just a little bit more because this is Satam. Like, this show is the main influence of material for the Archie comics. Which I promise we didn't do too much, because we're trying to save as much of the Archie counterpart stuff for another set of episodes in the future, because there are plenty of topics alone just by each individual character videos we can make. Now that I have mentioned that, sit back and relax and take it away past me. Hey there, everyone, it's me, Frank, the Blockbuster guy. I'd like to welcome you guys back to another episode of STHD. Along with me are my co-hosts, Nat, Nikki.
What's up, guys?
And Dom.
Hello. I'm tired.
It's a late night as usual.
We were becoming owls right now. Well, I'm more of an owl than anyone.
When we last left off, we talked about the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Today, we're talking about the second show, this possible arguably superior show, Sonic Satam, aka Sonic Saturday Morning Cartoon. Cue the music.
Love the song.
Let's begin. Let's dive into the Satam. When the show comes to mind, it's one of those type of shows that pretty much it was made specifically for the times. It's a 90s show. But then again, all three of the other Western Sonic cartoons were made in the 90s. Well, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
I definitely would say it was in that cool 90s. It was like Disney Saturday Morning with DuckTales and
Right.
You mean the way past cooler show?
Enough with your pun!
Oh, sorry! Oh, alright, so let's show up this time. And let's real quick briefly talk about the differences between these two shows, because it's a big difference. We have one side, which is one show that was very wacky, random, and just a random cartoon for its time, no continuation.
Whereas
Satam
had more of a structured story, more cast members.
A lot of cast members.
They even made Ecosystem look fun.
Yeah.
Made the planet look cool. And, yeah, a little more seriousness to it.
Yeah.
You look at the ratings of both the shows. Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog had 6.3. This show is a 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Which is average.
But it doesn't show the difference in quality, though.
Yeah, but it just depends on people's perspective, that's all.
Right. Cause I feel that these ratings are a little too low. I'm surprised the Adventures got that high in ratings. But
it's IMDb. Why are you judging from IMDb?
Touche.
That is true.
Alright, so let's move on to, since we just talked briefly about the show, its typing, the dramatic ratings of IMDb, and their shenanigans, let us dive in and talk about Satam, on how we found out about the show. Natasha, you can go first.
Well, I'll try to be brief on this, since this show brings lovely memories. I was fairly new to the Sonic series. My first game, Sonic Adventure, that's how I found out. My brother tells me that Amy Rose, who I was a big fan at the time, was not the first Sonic female to be introduced, where, in fact, it was this character named Sally Acorn. Didn't know what the hell he was talking about, and then he showed me a picture of her, and the origin of everything. It's like, no, I refuse to believe she exists. Unfortunately, she kind of does exist. So that's how I found out about the show, and pretty much all the other shows as well too.
How about you, Dom?
I think it sort of came from like with the comics.
The Archie comics, right?
Yeah, the Archie comics. So I was like, oh, this series looks. I mean, I just saw it when I was at a card store. I was like, oh, look, this Sonic comic series, and I think I heard about it before. And then when I heard it was a TV show before it became a comic, I was like, oh, cool, and I saw the TV show.
Good times.
It was the 90s.
Wait, oh my god. Pugsley! Don't snore so loud, it sounds like you're crying!
Oh no.
Oh no! Well, if anyone's hearing any snoring...
I do, I hear it, it's fine.
I hear it.
It's okay.
Well, to any of the viewers listening, right now I have 3 pugs in the room. One of them's having a nightmare of me. Attention.
Probably the most adorable thing you will ever see in life.
Yes. Pugs.
Alright,
so where was I? So aside from the pugs snoring, I guess it's time for me to talk about
how you found out.
my awesome origin. So it's around the same time I'm still getting into the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. My dad blows my mind, and he comes back to the store that should not be mentioned anymore. That was foolish to mention in the first video. And so basically he came back with a rental, and I assumed it was the same show.
Yeah.
And I was so pumped. At the same time, I was so confused.
Oh no.
'Cause,
Confused Frank.
Yes, like young me was like, "What's going on? This is like a different flavor. I don't know what's going on here." And pretty much the episode was, how do I say? It was basically, there was an episode where Sally, Bunny, and Antoine and them were all going disguised as a SWAT bot, and then Sonic's running.
I kind of remember that episode.
Yeah, like Sonic's just going around, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm afraid Sonic might attack them."
Sally girl, are you sure Sugar Hog would recognize us?
Oh my god. That was a good impersonation.
Well, I remember how she was always so country and always called him Sugar Hog. That's one of the things I remember from that show.
Funny enough, there was, I know this is a little brief mentioning shoutouts to Newgrounds real quick, but one of the ironic things, there was a flash made about that. Like, my peer as a kid was like, "Oh no, Sonic killed them!"
That was hilarious!
Such good times back then, old Newgrounds.
Oh god.
Good times. I messed up.
So, now that we've mentioned a bit of how we were first introduced about the show, why don't we discuss some of the voice actors? Because there is a large cast in the show.
Big. Like, really big compared to last show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the one, the only, Jaleel White.
He says it wrong one more time!
I'm sorry, it's hard to...
Jaleel White.
Jaleel White.
White!
I got it this time. So look, since we talked about him a lot in the last episode, we're just gonna basically briefly talk about him. Like, I guess basically comparing to see if he improved from the last show in this show in terms of voicing Sonic the Hedgehog, and does he feel in this show more like a Sonic the Hedgehog compared to the last TV show?
I mean, you know how Wacky Adventures was? You can tell that he still has that cool feel to him, to the character.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more undertone.
Mainly that voice and this particular type of Sonic characteristics was always one of my favorite Sonic, pretty much type of character type.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why the voice was always, it stood out a lot for me back then. Still a little now.
Yeah.
Watch Ryan Drum.
Movie.
Yeah. But if I had to judge his voice throughout his 3 series he's done, it just goes with, okay, you're in the show.
Which was the first?
You did amazing in the new show, and then it just dropped down.
Yeah. It went up and down.
I mean, it wasn't terrible at Underground, but you just like, God, why?
Well, I mean, give the man credit. He was doing 3 different characters.
I guess.
Which we'll save that for later, because right now just focus on the Sad AM portion of his voicing.
We can agree on that he was a little bit better in terms from his transition from Adventures to Sad AM.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Let us go on to our sidekick. Let's go on to Bradley Pierce, the new voice actor for Tails. Well, he's not new anymore, but this is back
Yeah,
then.
like this is like I think
Yeah.
wasn't he was the second Adventure Tales voice because like he replaced the other one.
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I said that because like when it came to Tails voice actor, the first one got too old and basically his voice
Oh,
couldn't go
that's
down.
right. You did mention that he hit puberty and they had to find someone else.
Yes, and I think Bradley Pierce was the one who took that spot.
Yeah.
Not too sure, but if you guys know, let us know in the comments down below. So, what about the roles real quick? Any memorable roles for this guy?
I do.
Go.
All-time favorite film, Beauty and the Beast. He voiced Chip, the actual little teacup from Beauty and the Beast, and he was so adorable.
The little cup.
What's your mama?
Oh, wow. So he did a lot of good roles growing up. Let's see. Wait, did he do the Tales first, or did he do the Beauty and the Beast before that?
Beauty and the Beast came out in 1992.
He had a good amount of experience before getting into the Iconics at AM.
It came out in the early 90s, that's all I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you could tell, like, comparing this voice actor to the previous one, like, you could tell that he had experience under his belt. Like, one of those type of kid voice actors.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about him as a voice actor overall at that time for Tails? Like, how did he sound?
He sounded like a kid. He sounded like a kid, and Tails is a kid either way, so he did good.
He always remains a kid throughout the whole entire series, so
Yeah.
why would they change that?
Why would he not get older is the question.
Exactly.
Good point. Just wait until we get to the CD Tails voice actor.
Oh
Oh.
my god.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this was like the last time. Actually, no, CD was probably the last time, but this was like I think one of the last times they actually had a kid voice act the Tails character.
Oh, until they went for an
Yeah.
older actor.
Yeah, 'cause,
Until
like
they went like most boy kid actors is using female actresses.
pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, it was around that time. 'Cause it's become a thing more later on down in terms of voice acting, but what can you do? So now that we got our main character and side character, let us go to our main villain. Let us mention Mr. Jim Cunnings himself. Whoa.
My ears, why?
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I
Did
love Jim Cummings.
Did a banshee just like kind of fly up in my ears?
She was very happy.
I can tell.
Yes.
I love him so much.
His voice for the character was very spot on. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh,
He had like that. He had like that. He has like that weird. That like weird like. It's like breathing after every sentence. It's like you have to. Dude.
he had that menacing feel to it. Not just that, you have to think about the aspect of the character real quick. Like, this type of Robotnik is different from almost every other incarnation of Robotnik. This is a
right, I
Robotnik
can
that
agree with that. I can agree.
he took over the world.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
what is ironic though, like, cause like he has that voice, and then he has like his straggy, big fat tough guy attitude, big fat guy tough attitude. Because you know what he voices?
I hate him. I hate him.
He's Pete.
He is. That's why I love. Like, oh my god, he's Pete from Disney's Goofy. He's Cat from Cat Dog. He's Darkwing
he's-
Duck.
He's almost every single one of your childhood favorite
Yes.
characters.
He's a legend,
Fuzzy
guys. He's a
Lumpkin.
legend.
He's Mr. Cunning.
Hey, Fuzzy Lumpkin.
He's a
Wait,
legend.
he's Fuzzy
If you guys
Lumpkins?
don't know him, you really need
Yep.
to look for this
He's
guy.
Fuzzy Lumpkin.
He's amazing in his job.
I think he's the original Fuzzy Lumpkins too, because he is in the new show now.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Such a shame that show is so bad, but that's not the point. We still got good voice actors. Like Jim Cunning will grace the show with his magic.
Yeah.
So now that we mentioned Jim Cunning, because like there are a lot of things you can mention about Robotnik, but we're gonna save that for a whole other
Because
video.
like robot, well, okay, well, if we want to save the the comic, yeah, we're saving the comic book stuff, guys. That's what we're saving because like comic book Robotnik, shit, it's like
One of the best.
Down.
But like it was kind of pretty much based off this show. But
yeah,
Yeah.
just overall in general, Robotnik deserves his own video because this particular type of Robotnik is a very unique Robotnik.
So stay
Yeah.
tuned for a future episode.
Yeah, because like seriously, we've never seen this Robotnik outside this show and the cartoon, not the cartoon, the cartoon
No.
and the comic. utilize
Well,
this type
in
of
terms-
story for
Yeah,
him.
in terms of
I mean, the
Robotnik.
closest you can get is probably Sonic Adventures. Oh, Robotnik, he was pretty menacing.
But he never took anything over though. Like I mean, he was a menacing force, but nothing really
Yeah,
able to
and
But
come
that's
of
the
it.
closest you get from
And
for this.
we'll, yeah, and we'll like talk about that stuff like if we ever get to the video games.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Because
go on, Dom.
because like the thing is like when you look at like Adventure Sonic and because the only good Robotnik we ever got was like how like he's a silly character in Adventure and he was just kind of just like there to be in the way of the silliness or just to be the obstacle of everything else. And in the video game, he is the main villain, but you don't get that much out of him. Saturday Morning Robotnik is like just
Fleshed out.
plain
Very
up,
fleshed out.
like very menacing on
Yes.
just day one.
And Jim Cummings just brings that magic out.
Yeah,
Then the comics just it explodes. Both actually, now that I mentioned, I forgot to mention the British comic as well did the same thing in terms of rushing out even more.
Oh yeah, the Sonic the Comic series.
Yes, the Sonic the Hedgehog comic. Yes.
Yeah.
So we got two comics that explore that whole side of Robotnik that we never freaking see. Which Sega, take a hint.
Well,
But let's move on.
you're gonna have to put it on a billboard for them to notice. So.
Hey man, I've already successfully helped fund one already. So there you go.
Oh well. Okay, next voice actor.
Alright, so now we must mention the other sidekick, Charles Adler as Snively. I can't do. Oh, oh my god, that was a good one.
no, because like, Charles Adler is also another famous voice actor. You know, like he does a lot. I think, yeah, everyone should know him as basically Raphael from the '80s TNT.
Oh yeah.
He's done a lot of big roles.
But his big role is Raphael from
Now,
'80s.
and also because he's now Donatello in the 2012 series.
What a twist! The world doesn't make sense anymore.
And sad news for me that he's also Starscream of Transformers movie.
Wait. What? Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's intense.
I mean, I know him from.
I mean, whatever. It's voice acting is voice acting. You get money for it.
That's true. But I also know him from as Ed and Bev Big Head from Rocko's Modern Life. If you guys know that show, if you have a childhood, you know that show.
Wait, he was Mr. Ed?
He was Ed and Bev Big Head from Rocko's Modern Life.
He's
Wait. Mrs. Big Head was actually what's my god?
Bev Big Head, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Whoa, that's a twist. Maybe it's because of this guy's work. It gave the Sonic team the idea to let Jaheel White voice himself, his brother, and his sister.
Uh-huh.
It all makes sense.
Yeah.
I know. Perfect.
I think another thing too of Charles Adler, he also voices the new currently TMNT show. He voices Donatello, which I think is pretty awesome because like when you look at because Nickelodeon did a special episode with the TMNT where like, they had like the new with the classic and then
Oh, the crossover, yeah.
the crossover, yeah, where they had Charles Adler voice both Raph and Donatello at the same time, and this how they make fun of their voices is awesome.
I would imagine.
That's a lie, but I could have sworn they also did that for the 2003 show.
Yes, they did. They brought in the originals and the '80s.
So it's kind of like a traditional thing.
I don't think they got the voice actors for the '80s ones.
Oh, for that time period, for the 2003 one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
think they did.
Well, we can look it up at a later time.
Yeah.
Alright. Who's next, Frank?
Let us take a look next. Now that we mentioned our main characters and their, their sidekicks, we must dive into the freedom fighter actors. We will start off with the most bravest, the most strongest, the one that has more courage than Sonic himself. It is, hold on, Mr. Rob Paulson as Antoine.
Aw, the shy one.
Yeah.
Cowardly brave guy.
The cowardly brave, Ron Paulson. Antoine was an interesting character, but yeah, he was very basic. Like if I had to make sense, like Sonic the Hedgehog Saturday Morning is very stereotyped characters. Like you can you could just
that much stereotyping.
Well, it's not. It's no, but like in terms of the time, it works itself out because that's
the time period that had a lot of stereotypes.
Well, of course, man. Antoine, he had this kind of a French-like accent, but
Oui, monsieur.
But he's also like the cowardly, trying to be brave character who just gets outshadowed by Sonic the Hedgehog all the time.
Well, I mean, he's trying to compete, doing things that he's like like, how do I say, in areas that Sonic is really good at. He just
But
not
he's
good.
not.
But he has his own areas where he can shine
Ooh,
in.
I think I made a boo boo.
Right.
Oh, God, so,
But, you know, I mean, Antoine was a pretty good character in my book. I mean, I wasn't annoyed by him, but for a later time, obviously, when we talk about this later on with the comics, he shines in the comics.
well, yeah, pretty much. Like in the show, he starts developing, and like he's one of those characters that he seems like the coward, but he has a lot of courage. But it's
He's like
hard
the
to
Cowardly
reach it.
Lion.
Right, and he has his moments. He does, but
Yeah.
it shines even more in the comics, and you know,
And, yeah, I think Rob
it's just
Paulson
one of
did a
those
good
special.
job with that.
Yeah, like he really brought out the character, which that character type for him is still used a lot now.
Funny thing is, guys, too, this is another 90s moment for you. He's also Pinky from Pinky and the Brain and Yako from the Animaniacs.
Animaniacs.
I love that show.
Definitely should watch that show.
It
It's
is
on
so
Netflix
good.
now again.
So good. It's on Netflix, so check it out.
Exactly. Shout out for Netflix.
Woo!
Oh wait,
Netflix and chill.
no, we're not having that in there. That's a trigger word. Bullshit.
Doesn't look like I care.
So, any other roles you'd like to mention real quick, or
Actually, Dom,
I
we
don't.
had a bit of a mix-up.
Yeah, I think we did, but
Rob Paulson's the one that
yeah, I screwed up, didn't I?
wait, what?
I screwed up. It wasn't
Rob Paulson's the one that
Rob
voiced
Paulson's
Raphael
80s
Donatello,
Wrath and Donatello.
not
I could have
the
sworn he
other-
was. I could have sworn it was the other guy.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I screwed it up.
Ah, damn.
Oh
Was-
well.
I screwed it up. Let me make sure who Charles Adler was. Sorry, everyone. That was my mistake.
If I'm
Again.
lucky, if I have the right editing skills, I can just rearrange that real quick. Possibly.
Well, if anything, we could just do the jokes. We're not perfect anyway.
Yeah.
It's true, but a lot of these actors in general, they do a lot of, like, almost every actor in this particular show has done a major amount of characters. Like, these
Oh,
are big
you
actors.
know what I did forget to say? You know what I did forget to say about
Mr. Adler?
yeah, Charles Adler? I forgot. All you Brony fans, he's the original Spike. That's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah!
He is the original Spike.
I totally forgot. You even told me that before.
Yeah.
That was scary.
That
That
scared
was
people.
frightening.
I could have sworn he was in TMNT. Because he looks like he's been in TMNT.
It could be.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
God.
Alright, Frank, what's next on the list?
So, naturally, since we just talked about Antoine, I feel it would be very appropriate to go on
Oh!
to his But hold
Now
on.
I see
I
where
had
it
a
went wrong.
revelation. What is it, Dom?
I forgot he's Mr. Whiskers.
Mr. Whiskers?
Granny and Mr. Whiskers. This pretty little kitty in the nose and the hair.
Yes. Charles Adler's Snively. He brings his Snively voice to Mr. Whiskers.
That's right.
Oh, I remember now.
Oh my god, that brings back good memories.
What a twist. Alright, so now that we got those, we fixed up the whole mix-up between Rob Paulson
Yeah.
and Charles Adler, let us go into the ultimate, how do I say, the perfect double for Antoine.
Oh.
Like, the tomatoes to the tomatoes.
The
The
super
perfect
fighting
match.
robot.
No. I was gonna say the perfect match for Antoine. We gotta go straight into Bunny Rabbit,
I
aka
know.
the voice actor Christine Cabana.
Another good voice actress.
Super fighting bunny robot chick.
Yes.
Another good voice actress, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
Who did
Yeah.
pass away I think 2 years ago. Yes, she died.
Oh
in
my god,
2022.
it was so sad.
That was a sad day because
The first thing I hear is like, guys, literally, my phone, I got a text from one of my friends, and it's like, girl, Dexter died.
yep.
Damn.
And it's like, what do you mean Dexter died? He's like, are you talking about the show? No, the actress was like, oh my god, you're lying. I didn't believe it, and then I saw the news, like, oh my god, I was really sad. Because
Yes.
she played his other great roles aside from Dexter. She was Chucky from Rugrats. She was Gosselin from Darkwing Duck. I was really sad when
Yeah, she was
A lot of big
basically like, I think she was like anything with like the scraggly hyper kid voice that was her, and then she was also Babe.
I mean, she was in many things from like live action to like cartoon in general. Like, oh my god, she was even the
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald cartoon.
oh my
She's
god.
also
Birdie.
She was
She
also
was a really
Babe.
good Birdie too.
She's also
Yeah.
Babe.
Yeah, she's Babe from the first one.
She's Babe the pig.
I love Babe. That's another classic.
It was kind of sad when she retired. Like, it was so abrupt and out of nowhere.
Yeah.
From what I've
Yeah.
heard, there was a lot of talk saying that she was very paranoid about something.
Mm.
And, well, that, I don't have much knowledge on it, but that's one of the things that made her want to retire.
Right.
But, even though she retired so suddenly,
She
did
still
massive
ended
amount
on
of
good
roles.
notes.
Yeah, she ended on good notes, on good terms. Yes, it was sad that she died abruptly, the way she did, but at least her memory still lives on because a lot of people love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Let's talk
keep
about
resting in peace.
let's talk real quick about how like how well you guys liked her voice. Like her Bunny.
I really do like Bunny Rabbit. I think she's probably one of the most interesting characters of the Sonic 2 characters.
Well, of course, Sally girl.
Because of the concept of how she is, or like
In terms of just like if anything, I think she was, if anyone can tell, if anyone can back me up on this, I don't know if I'm right or I don't know. I think she was the inspiration for Applejack.
Come on now.
I can see that.
Like there are many Southern type characters, like that type.
But you can see the similarity between these two, though.
I can see it, but at the same time, the thing
There's
with
so
Bunny
many
Rabbit,
characters, though.
the way with Bunny Rabbit, I love her. I do love her character. She's very flirty, but she's got backbone.
Right? Don't you mean metal?
She's not like. She's not like the stereotypical, because the way I thought of her, she was kind of like the dumb blonde, like the way she was flirty. But then she proved her own when she was fighting.
She kind of like out of all the characters, are basically like stereotype types. She stands out the most out of being the different one.
Yeah, she's not like just some average country girl.
Yeah, the thing is, the My Little Pony characters, a lot of them are based off a lot of stereotypes. Like, I'm not lying, not in a bad way, but.
Oh no, I know.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, there's bad ways you can make stereotypes. Like if you just like plain out just this way: leader, tough guy, idiot, girl.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So back to the bunny. Like her character in general in the show, she was a very interesting type of character because this is the first time we ever seen like a roboticized and a half type of character.
Yeah.
Well, kind of like.
I think she was like the first, right?
Yeah, she's the only one to survive. They never really give you an origin story in the series, but they do give you an origin in the comic, though.
Yeah, she was like in the process, but then Sonic
saved
came
her
in time and saved her.
Yeah.
Like a good portion of her body was roboticized, but still.
Which brings always so many confusing questions, which we'll probably never get answers to about.
Yeah.
The complications of that, but whatever, forget it. It's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Science.
Then again, it's one of those quests, one of those things that you just rack your brain in.
If you look at her body, it's like I could have sworn her lower half is also metallized.
Yes, it is.
It is actually.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So she can't go through that.
It's like it's weird, complicated things that you want to know, but you don't want to know because it seems so fucking complicated.
Yeah.
It's like time travel. You don't ask it, just look at it.
Right. Like not just that. When you look at her character and Antoine, they were like the second awesome pair of the show. No. Even though there wasn't any pairing implications, but they did get really close and friend-wise. Like they were really tight.
It developed naturally.
But it bloomed in the comic. Like it went.
I know, and they're one of my favorite couples.
Like when it comes to the power couples of the entire Sonic series, like I'm not saying it's like they're that well popular, but dude, they're like one of the best power couples.
Yeah.
That you don't want to break them up.
You don't, like, they really do complement one each other very well.
Yes, like, they're a perfect match.
Yeah. So, Christine Cavanaugh, good job with Bunny.
Yes, and not just Christine Cavanaugh. Like, have I ever pronounced her last name wrong? I always...
Kavanaugh.
Yes, not just Christine Cavanaugh. Fuck! Kavanaugh!
Oh my god, give it up.
Go on,
Robinson and Christine, you already know, the chemistry and the voicing together, it worked. It made that dynamic between them, which you see in the comics today. It's that damn good.
Yeah.
So now, moving aside from these two, let us go to our mechanic / engineer guy. Before Tails had it, we go straight into Rotor, which was voiced by 2 voice actors. Yeah. We have Cam Bernard
and Mark Ballo.
Yes, thank you. And real quick, before we talk about some of their roles real quick, let's talk about, was there any difference between the voices, like how similar they were? Because like, for me, when I first heard them, I never really heard a difference. There wasn't that much distinguishable between me. I couldn't even tell at first.
So it was kind of like a nice. It's a change, but not like a drastic change that you couldn't differentiate the two.
Exactly.
Okay, because honestly, I really don't remember Rotor's voice. I do know of Rotor, but I don't remember his voice.
Yeah, like Rotor's voice seems to have not much sticking out for them. The voice actors really don't seem to have much sticking out for them, but they do change from Mark Follow changed from '93 and then came in Cam Bernard.
Right. The thing is, both of them they went more for the film type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, one of them was it like let me see. Mark Balawu he wasn't the powerful Oz. Which actor was he? I have to see. Like I don't think it's IMDb.
Right.
Darn it.
Whatever. We don't really get too much into the details about the voice actor Rotor. But Rotor itself, he was very interesting. Like I say, because when it comes to the Sonic Saturday Morning, it was somewhat very kind of stereotype character. But some characters really do kind of stand out, and Bunny Rapout definitely did stand out, and I think even Rotor kind of did sometimes.
I mean, Anton stood out too. Like all of them kind of stand out. But what was Rotor's stereotype?
Because if anything, if you want to talk about between Tails and how he's changed to being the gadget character, the original gadget character belongs to Rotor. Rotor was the original gadget character.
Yeah.
He invented all the new gadgets for everyone to use.
Right, because in just when it comes to the games alone, Sonic 1, 2, 3, the only thing Tails was known for, not the mechanic guys, but just, he was a pilot. Yep. Like, he was a sidekick and he could fly, that's it, that's awesome. And he could fly a freaking a plane. And this guy, a lot of Rotor's things you see in Tails.
Didn't Rotor make Nicole?
I'm not sure. Shoot, I think so. It's possible.
I don't think Tails made Nicole.
No way. Remember, this Tails, when they gave the show, he was just there. He wasn't a freedom fighter at first.
Because he was too young.
But then he did, do stuff on the side afterwards. But, yeah, most of the stuff was mostly Rotor. He made mostly everything for the team. Yeah. And, his character outside the show was basically... He was originally with the team the same as the show did. But due to stuff happening to him, he got a lot of injuries. He became, this old mentor-like character that wants to go back to his younger days to join the team and join the fight and help out. Which is pretty sad.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things about Rotor's character, which is crazy. And things that are intended for the comic, too.
Oh my god.
Especially the cut stuff, too.
But that's another episode.
It is.
If you guys want in the comments down below, if you want us to do, focus on a character, on a soul character, let us know what you want us to talk about.
Which character to get to first, because,
don't matter, just whatever they want.
There's already 2 particular characters we are dedicating a full episode to, which... You already know one's Robotnik. And the other, you'll find out soon enough.
Right. So, but leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think.
Right. And so, one last thing before going off to the next actor. One thing I want to mention about Mr. Kane Bernard. He was in the Face Off with Nick Cage.
Oh, really?
Cage, yeah.
Yes. Graham Bernard was in Face Off. I don't know what character he plays, but...
That's what we have IMDb for, but... It is not working for us that well today. I do not know why, but wait. It is working. He was...
There's a god.
He was Dispatcher. Yes. Praise the Maker. He was the Dispatcher.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so now that we got those characters covered, let us go to the next...
We're almost there, guys. We're almost there.
Let us go to... I know you guys don't want me to talk about this character. I know Natasha don't want to talk about this character a lot. Let us talk about Uncle Chuck. Yes.
How he sidetracked you guys?
You guys be doing that all day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about Uncle Chuck. What's the voice actor? William Wyndham.
Yeah.
Was another voice actor from the team that passed away years ago.
Yeah.
But he was kind of old. He died He died 88. He died in 2012. So,
right. It was all natural because he was really old. Nothing really bad. It was a natural.
He was in
long life.
Yeah, he was in also a Planet of the Apes movie, Escape from Planet of the Apes.
He did a lot. In terms of roles, a lot of live action roles, that was one of his main things mostly.
I could swear, I think the first time I've seen him, it was because of my dad. I swear to God he was in. I think he was in a Star Trek episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he did from cartoons, cartoons to movies. But I see a lot of big movie roles. Like he was in Dennis the Menace. He was in let me see, was in that Santa movie, which I can't. Which movie was it called again? I know he was in there. He was. Hold on, gotta scroll down real quick. Like I saw it earlier, I just can't recall. Oh, he was on
Yeah, because I
Miracle
really don't know
34th
much
Street.
about him.
No, there's actually a lot to know about this guy, but you don't hear that much about him. As much back then. 'Cause he was really big back then.
Right.
Oh wow! He even did like one of the pilot episodes for the Jetsons. Whoa!
I love the Jetsons. Oh, how the 90s and 80s and just the old times.
Jetson was 70s.
No, it was 80s, dude. The Flintstones was the 70s.
Yeah, the Flintstones was the 70s.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The end of the 60s going into the 70s, then the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Either way, I love both of them.
Oh yeah. So, let's see. Let's mention real quick my Uncle Chuck. The voice role was really he had that old voice system. Chuck is the old name.
He really didn't appear much in a lot of the episode. He was just.
But it was a big thing. Like this is the first time we ever saw a family member of Sonic.
Yeah.
It's a big role. And I'm glad. I love Uncle Chuck.
He's actually a very popular family member of Sonic's family.
Yeah.
He's a very supportive family member for Sonic.
Yeah.
I'm glad that in the comics they got him first before anything else.
Yeah.
Gotta get my uncle.
He's more involved. Like I'm not saying it bad because when they did talk about his Sonic's actual parents,
he was the closest thing to a parent we ever had to Sonic.
Yeah.
For all we know, Uncle Chuck is Father Chuck.
No, please don't.
Hey man, he's
Uncle Chuck.
Hey man, he's the only family member left because of reboot. You already know.
Well, we can say that Sonic thought of him as a father other than an uncle, but
father
figure. There you go.
Like a father figure, but he's still the uncle.
True enough. So, any last things you want to say about him real quick, or what?
I've always liked Chuck. I
like Chuck, but there really isn't much to talk about him because he barely appeared in most of the show. He didn't appear up until they broke free of his control, but they never stopped him from being robotized.
Right, he's more like the supportive role. That's pretty much it.
Right. Up next, we're gonna talk about another freedom fighter that I haven't had the chance to actually mention. Should have mentioned her earlier. Cree Summers as Dulcie.
If you guys don't know who Dulcie is, she's basically a fat dragon.
And dragons are cool.
Yeah, but except this dragon.
Yeah.
Dulcie was very forgettable.
Yeah,
she helped out from time to time.
I remember, I felt like she appeared up in the second season of the show, and it was she was just there. Where did she come from?
Yeah, but you know what the funny thing is? Cree Summer, her voice actress, she also voiced another dragon. And this is from my childhood when I was a big Barbie fanatic.
Oh no.
Oh god.
She voiced a purple dragon named Penelope.
Wait. Are we talking about... Are we talking about Dragon Tales?
No.
No, this is Barbie. This is intense dragons, man.
There actually was an intense dragon in that. That was her dad.
God damn it, Barbie.
Hey, I will admit, the old Barbie movies were way better than how the movies are today.
Yeah, I guess.
Now they're just mindless.
I have no comments on that. I've only seen the Nutcracker. That's it.
I love the Nutcracker one. But anyway, Cree Summers, guys, is another great voice actress. She's in a lot of roles.
So many voices. Off the top of my head, the two main favorite ones I have of her. Number 5 from Codename Kids Next Door.
Ab or Nacho.
Yep, that's my 5. Yeah, she is number 5.
Not just that, ironically,
she's her sister.
Yeah, she voices number 5's sister, who was also named Cree.
Yeah.
What a twist!
Oh, it's a conspiracy.
Which is she does really well with the line, but she can go spot on with just drop it out of the park. Not drop it, hit it out of the park.
Right.
Yeah, because her voice is she has her voice is recognizable.
It is.
All of her voices
she's done 2 shows for Nickelodeon. She was Valerie Gray from Danny Phantom.
Yes.
And she was in My Life as a Teenage Robot as the Crust Sisters.
Yes. She's also Elmira.
Yeah.
She was also in Brutal Legends.
She's also Susie. She's also from Rugrats too. Susie Carmen.
She's Susie. She's
She-
Kita from Atlantis.
Ah, and another favorite role of mine that she did was as Foxy Love in Drawn Together.
Oh, from Drawn Together.
That's right. She's also Foxy Love too.
Like, which ironically at the time, like I totally thought a little bit, like back then, like wait a minute, this voice actor. This is one of the first times I'm starting to hear her
Also-
outside of the kids.
You also
Like,
forgot she's also the delightful children from Down the Lane too.
Oh yeah.
get out of town, but oh my god! But like literally at the time, like I said, I was new to the voice actor. All I knew her was Kids Next Door, and when I heard the Foxy voice, like wait a minute. She has a hat. She has the voice. It's the same voice actor. Oh my god!
It's basically number 5 all grown up.
She's based off the Jones and Pussycats and basically all kids with the van solving mysteries.
Yeah, like
That's what her parody character was. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
so-
like the other 2 characters I remember were the princess, who was based off every single Disney princess, and that elf-looking guy who was actually based off Link from Zelda.
Yes, he's the video game character.
yeah, baby.
Ugh.
Yeah, like I said, I used to think that back then because that was a very long time. I was young at that time, so it's like that's kind of cool. But you know, shits and giggles. But
Right.
it couldn't. But yeah, let's mention another voice actor real quick. Let's go to Tim Curry.
Oh, the funny villain.
Well, he wasn't a villain. He was King Acorn.
I know,
But-
but usually he
yeah,
plays this funny
yeah.
villain.
Yeah, like there's this guy. He's one of those type of guys you could know just by hearing his voice and just by seeing, because like he's in a lot of live action films.
He is in a lot
He
of
has a very
things.
recognizable face. He has like those funny faces.
He does. He's like
His voice sounds like he has like an evil voice all the time,
Exactly.
been in many awesome roles.
and
He's
even his
not.
face,
I
even
know
his
he's
face is evil.
I know he's Nigel from the Wild Thornberries. I think he's the dad from the Wild Thornberries.
Let's see, not just that, he's in, let me see another awesome role that he's in. He's in Young Justice?
Oh yeah,
He's
Yeah.
Godfrey.
Yeah, I remember that. He's in
he
Young
does
Justice.
recent stuff.
He's done a lot of recent stuff.
Yeah,
He was also, let me see.
he was in the Nutcracker of Barbie.
Oh. Oh, really?
Yeah, he was the Mouse King.
Oh, wow.
The
Not a
sad
villain.
thing is that's who I instantly thought of when you mentioned his name, because his voice was so hilarious. He has that stereotypical villain voice that tries to sound menacing, but they're actually hilarious.
I'm trying to remember which movie that I know him the most from, like, because there is one movie like that. Whenever I think of the actor, I see his face, I think instantly that movie. I'm trying to recall. Let me look real quick to make sure. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, he was in the Addams Family as Gomez. Addams?
Yeah, he made a good Gomez.
Like, let's see, wasn't it Gomez? It wasn't that role, but I'm trying to recall which movie was it? 'Cause
I mean, there's really not much when you talk about Tim Curry, because like, at this point, Tim Curry
he's done so much.
he's pretty big. Probably his most famous ones are his big live action roles as the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, but for now, in this segment of Sonic, he just played Sally's dad.
Yeah, just there for like that one episode, and then,
Yeah, that was it. That was just like his one time to shine.
Oh, there it is. He was the concierge in the Home Alone 2 movie.
yep.
That was the first time I saw him. I saw him in the Nutcracker.
I remember Home Alone. That's a classic too.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's been in a lot of awesome movies.
You may have had your one time to shine in this show, but you did a good job.
Oh yeah. Oh wait.
Who's next? I think I'm dreading this moment because I know you're just trying to put a
Next.
stick through my heart.
Alright, fine. Let's address the elephant real quick in the room. You already know which actor, Natasha. Be frank with me.
Oh my goodness. Is it
Yes.
Frank Welker?
It is! How do you know?
Because the man, everyone knows who Frank Welker is. He's basically any animal you can think of.
That and Megatron.
There's that too.
He's like one of the best background voice actors ever. Like, he does every single animal. I mean, every animal.
Yes, he does sounds, guys. You would think they just went through the jungle for the savannah for a lion's roar. That's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
Like, the only other time he's never used for that type of thing is like that little simple toy that kids use. The cow goes move. The
I
cat
think-
goes meow.
I think
No,
Frank,
that
I
was
think
not
Franco
him.
has like one of those voices like he can just change ultimately, because like if you were to hear him, like take his '80s voice of Megatron and then compare, because also Transformers Prime's Megatron,
Yeah.
and try to see the difference. Like you can hear how he changes his voice between those two. It's scary. It's really fucking cool too, because I really do like Megatron and Prime.
Yeah. It's one of those things that when you hear their voice or what they're known for so long, and when they do something different, it's kind of scary.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like with Lady Gaga when everyone knows how she sings and everything, but then when she did that show, when she started singing The Sound of Music, dude, she was phenomenal.
Or the fact that Nicki Minaj did Sugalite in Steven Universe, and everyone was like surprised how well she was really good at that.
I know, right? Look, the more you know about these things.
Knowing is half the battle. So let's go on to the next actor real quick. Let's go on to Michael Bell, who voice acted for Nagus, another
Michael
fan
Bell.
favorite character.
Yeah.
Nagus was alright in my book.
No, yeah. In terms of the
The
show,
comic wise, but like
in terms of the show, he's okay because like he really is like there for like probably like 1 or 2 episodes.
No, he was there for 13 episodes.
That's IMDb. IMDb's lying.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we watched the show together when you first watched it, but still.
I mean, from what I know
It's
of
been a while,
Michael Bell, I know from Michael Bell he's Drew Pickles, like he's Tommy Pickles' dad from Rugrats.
I'm loving this consistent chain of connecting of voice actors for similar shows. We got a lot of Rugrat voice actors in one whole show. Like that's ironic and funny. Like in the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yeah.
you notice how a lot of actors in Reboot, Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love that about the '90s voice actors back then. Like I guess then again, a lot of voice actors do the same thing like it is now. Like you work all day on this show, you work on that show.
Like, if you were to look at the difference between voice actors, like you could tell even just by cartoon standards or even anime standards. Like look at the voice like for English stuff mostly. Look at the voice acting back then. Where like really like we had anybody famous, and we only knew like a few people that were famous. Like Steve Bloom became like Steve Bloom voice like fucking like in a
Pretty
snap.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really nice to see that the whole team stuff, like when you see like a consistency between certain actors, which you already know if they worked together before, there's a good chance they have good chemistry,
Yeah.
and it's a good delivery for a lot of lines because they're probably so used to each other if they recorded together.
I mean, one thing I didn't know about Michael Bell is that he's actually, if you guys have played the Ninja Gaiden series, he's Ryu. I think that the guy's name.
He's Ryu. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's something.
Any last things you guys want to say about Michael Bell real quick before we go on to the next actor real quick?
Not really, because a lot of stuff I want to talk
I
about
mean, I didn't know.
A lot of stuff I want to talk about Nagas is mostly in the comics, so we really don't need to talk that much about him.
Right.
Yeah,
now,
the only thing I just have to say about Michael Bell is I didn't know he was Muramasa from Ninja Gaiden.
Oh wow.
I didn't know that. I found that out recently, actually.
The more you know. Knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
So our next actor is Cherie Belafonte, and she voiced Lupe. Was she the fox?
Yeah.
She's a wolf.
A wolf. My bad.
Lupe!
I feel so stupid right now. I'm sorry.
Yes, you are.
Lupe, how could you, Frank?
I'm sorry.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I am.
Get out! Get out!
Yeah,
now.
she really, like, in terms of Sharia, she really doesn't. I mean, she's an actor, but she is definitely an actor, but she hasn't done much voice acting in a while.
Yeah,
She's more of a live action actor.
Yeah.
I think so.
Huh? Any particular roles that you guys?
I mean, her name sounds really familiar, don't get me wrong.
Let me see. Wait. Oh, she was in Babylon 5.
I don't know that joke.
Elizabeth Trent in Third Space. She was also Miss Jonathan in Hey Arnold.
John? Oh, Johansson!
Yes, Miss Johansson.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know Hey Arnold then. I know Mrs. Johansson. I mean,
She has a lot of good roles though, but yeah, that's about it, really.
Yeah, she was pretty good. I mean, from what I remember, I think she had like an exotic voice for Lupe.
She did.
Yeah.
From what I remember.
I mean, she was.
And, I mean, Lupe was a pretty interesting character. She did pop up in more episodes than most of the side supported characters came in.
Right, she was one of those, like, one of the other few characters that you barely would ever see, but they do more dive in when it comes to the comics.
Yeah.
But even though she is still a secondary character in the comics, it was still nice to see her, like, them fully take advantage of all the characters in this show. So now that we've got almost all these actors out of the way, is there anyone else you want to mention before we go to the big the big actor that.
No, there really isn't. And at this point right now, let's just get to the point because I know Natasha just want to rip it off like a band-aid.
Do more than just rip something.
Let's talk about a lot of conflictions, and let's talk about Katsuchi, voice actor for various characters Natasha loves.
Okay, well, we're talking about Sally Acorn here because, this is drawing.
Hold on. You don't talk about the leader before you talk about Nicole. Don't be like the second best. Nicole is awesome.
Nicole was barely there.
Hey, she had a lot of flair and sass in her.
Yeah,
I mean,
how many
okay,
times
let me just go on out of the limb here. Nicole, she was okay. She was just there. Now, Sally, she was a bitch.
Hey, no, she was not.
She was a big bitch to me. I'm sorry. I hate that freaking character. I wish she just stayed dead.
Hold on. That's so much aggression, Natasha.
I hate her so much. I'm sorry, guys.
That's so unfair hatred.
I have reasons, but they're mostly from the comics as well.
Exactly. Don't treat her from the cartoon original conceptions to the comic Sally. That is so unfair.
I didn't care for her at all in the show either.
She brought a good dynamic to the show, just like how Bunny and Antoine had a good chemistry.
In terms of her dynamics,
though, if Sally had great dynamics in general.
Okay.
First official Sonic couple in the entire franchise. Practically.
Look at her dynamics on the show. Most of the time with her dynamic, she is only there just to be leader. If she wasn't leader, she was basically girl.
Wasn't much of the girl though. Like, she mostly was focused, her main role, like just how she does in the comics, she completely focuses on leading. That's her main thing. First, most and foremost, she gotta lead the team because
yeah,
press over people, and
that's the only thing backing her character.
Basically, the epitome of girl power.
Well, not just that, she brought a lot of flair, and like there was a lot of chemistry between her and Sonic. Like, they both had good. They could lean on each other because they were that perfect of a dynamic duo.
Yep.
Yeah, not as perfect as Bunny and Antoine.
Exactly. But the point is, a lot of their personalities mixed really well. Like, this particular type of Sonic we have from the Satam series, which goes to the Archie/Sonic the comics, that type of Sonic is my personal favorite Sonic. And, like, you see basically both these two together, they always have something to say to each other. They work so well together. A lot of stuff can be said about just the two of them.
Look, I understand. I understand why people love Sally as a character. However, I only care for her voice actress, Katsuchi, who, in my book, had much better roles than this squirrel. For example, Dom, you know this all too well as well. For those of you who don't know, I am a Disney girl. I love things all Disney. My last Disney film was really Jungle Book, but the last film before that was Zootopia, which I love very dearly. And I found out recently that she voiced young Nick the fox. She's also Rugrats, Phil and Lil, and also their mother. She voices a lot of beloved characters, ones that I appreciate more than this squirrel.
It's basically irony for her, isn't it?
A lot of conflictions, but she's a really top-notch voice actor. I love almost every single one of her roles, with the exception of just one role. One role I do not like. That was just her in the Archelad Twilight series, which, oh my god. The thing is, look, she used her little voice, but the way it was, it just really did not mesh. But that was one time.
What series again?
The Archelad series. Like the fourth game, Twilight Spirits. She was a special, really good RPG series, but it died long ago because of one bad game. The point is, she was a particular character that you had to go through a good amount of ordeal, like in a tournament, just to unlock her. And once you did, she's an extremely overpowered character. But
so you basically had to do some grinding.
A little bit of grinding, but the point is, once I got her, once I started hearing the voice, I was like, oh wow, it's awesome, it's Lil. She's like, la 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 la. It was like awesome, but after a while it got really annoying because when it comes to that Lil voice, I like hearing that in Rugrats a lot. It doesn't mix all that. You have to play it for yourself. It sounds so weird for me to explain it. But
I mean, for all her voice, well, she does have to change it up a bit, but what I do know that when she voiced Sally, she used her regular voice. She didn't change it.
That's how OG she is. That's how powerful she is as a voice actor. Her natural
Doesn't change
given
the fact
voice.
that I hate the character. So,
Well,
moving on.
like I said, the whole thing about Sally in general, there's a lot of things we can say about her, but I want to say that for review because the thing about Sally,
He's just leaving all these surprises for me, guys.
yeah, go on down.
The thing about Sally is, as I said, like she's not a bad character. She does have her moments, and she's basically searching, which the fact that I mean, besides the fact that her name was Princess Sally throughout the entire series, and you'd expect her to be queen, but you know.
I mean, she didn't get married. I mean, she became a queen technically in the 25-year later arc. That's the one time she did become a queen.
Mention that to me. Oh.
Yeah, that's not the point. The point is, like I said, there are a lot of things to mention about Sally, and there's a lot of confusions about Sally because Sally is an extremely beneficial character to Sega, even though they don't use her.
Yeah.
Yes, but that is a whole video for another time because I wanted to keep this brief when it came to Sally and the Rage. When it comes to that.
Bottom line, guys, Sally, okay character for most people. Katsushi, great actress. Keep going.
Literally, there are so many big voice actors in this show. And just like the last show, we couldn't get to every actor.
Yeah.
So now that we're going through that, let's go straight into the animation.
The animation was, as I said, it's a past adventure because
it was a big step up from the.
It was basically like
they had a bigger budget. That's one of the reasons too. Like the big success of that show and the things that went into it.
It's not just that too. It's also toning. You also have to give your shows theming too.
Well, Adventure was very light. Like literally,
it was Ren and Stimpy. That's what the thing. So it was Ren and Stimpy, and Ren and Stimpy. Granted, Ren and Stimpy does have good coloring and toning for its series. Sonic Adventure, it just seems like it just doesn't know what it wants to do for a toning. Does it want to look like the video game, or does it want to look like something else?
And then you got Satam, which basically it had a dark tone to it.
It gave you its toning, and it told you like, yeah, this series is gonna be like serious, awesome adventure shit.
It still look colorful, but not as bright. Like you can tell the difference between the coloring, I guess. But
yeah, like with Adventures of Sonic, it was more bright and colorful, whereas since this was more of a serious kind of serious undertone for Sonic, it had more of a darker tone.
But yeah, I mean, the tone was pretty much there, and the animation worked really well for the art style. It wasn't that much different from the other show. You could really see big differences between more detailed in the environment, a lot of different variety of characters. Everything worked so much, like I said, more for the show itself.
Yeah, it just had a better direction, really.
That too. Which we can't be too hard on the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog because that's like the first show. Because if it wasn't for that show,
no. I understand.
I would have got this show.
Yeah, like Adventures of Sonic. Like this is the thing, Adventures of Sonic. I wouldn't watch it again. I would like to keep it in the past, but it wasn't a bad, terrible show. There were much.
It was good to watch as a kid. Like I loved watching that as a kid.
I liked watching it as a kid, but it's not that impactful to me now.
Like I watch some every now and then just for nostalgia and shits and giggles. Like I mean real shits and giggles because there are a lot of wacky plots. Like did you know Robotnik had a son in that show? Which I forgot.
Robotnik Jr.
We don't speak of him, but yes,
he wasn't that important, really.
I mean, but yeah, like I said, we could have mentioned last time, but it was just too much, too extreme, too much Robotnik. But yeah, this show itself, amazing. So now that we briefly talked about the animation, the art, the overall direction, the tone, which was awesome about the show, let's go on to one of the big things real quick. Does this show still stand up to today's standards? And could it compete with a lot of today's TV shows? Like, how well would it do?
Okay, well, if you look at the terms of the newer shows now, what most show like in terms of like the bigger show that stands out for everyone, like with Steven Universe, Adventure Time, and TMNT. What else? I think regular.
Also, don't forget the really bad shows that are also just really random too.
And like regular show and like Teen Titans Go. I think it still can stand above the rest. Like I say it could probably go against these shows, but I don't think it'll win against these shows.
Well, a lot of that can be very debatable for some shows, mind you. I mean,
Yeah, no.
Unlike, the thing is, it's not fair since they got cut out of its
It's gonna go past like half of Cartoon Network stuff, and then stop
half.
and then stop
Okay.
mostly
Right.
most of it,
Right?
I mean,
Okay.
and then
I
stop
mean,
in between, and then stop in between Steven Universe and Adventure Time.
yeah. I mean, in technicality, it does kind of continue on because for those of you who read the comics, you should know
You
that.
already know. But the thing
Yeah.
is, this show itself, like, from what it pretty much started off was a really great start. And the thing is, who's to say, like, if this particular show had more seasons, who's to say it could compete with the newer shows that are ongoing? Which, because, you know, Steven Universe and Adventure Time had, like, what, 6 seasons? Like,
No.
well,
No,
Steven
Adventure-
Universe is about to have its third, I think.
Its third starts next week for all those who are excited.
Right, Steven Universe
to
has
return to
right, like, Steven Universe has a bigger budget, more, yes,
Well,
big budget, a lot of episodes, more episode counts in general, and, like, it's not canceled midway.
The biggest one right now is Adventure Time. That thing just ended its 7th season, I think.
Well, I mean, mind you, a lot of shows don't, like, if they're really big, they'll just keep going, but... Alright, so...
sometimes there's always a point where it should just stop.
Right, so...
Yeah, I said this multiple times. Like, I'm fine with Adventure Time ending at any point. Like, if they just want to say we're done and end it, yeah, I'm fine with that.
So, how about, let's real quick compare it to other Sonic cartoons. Like, how would it fare compared to, let's say, Sonic X or Sonic Boom?
Okay,
Or Sonic U. I mean, Sonic Underground. Not Sonic U.
For sure, Sonic Underground is at the bottom of the list.
Ouch.
I would say SatAM would probably stand pretty high.
It does beat Sonic X any day. Anything beats Sonic X.
Are you sure? I mean, Sonic X had, 100 episodes?
Well, if we can determine dub versus sub.
Right, because, like, the thing is, look, Sonic X, the show plot had great voice actors. It's just the directing and the cutting. The effective 4Kids.
Guys.
Are you going to say all voice
what
actors are great, including the kid?
We don't speak of him. We don't speak of him at all. But the point
God,
is,
that kid.
Like, the thing is, it was a good show for what it was. Because mostly, it was a show made just to advertise the games. And it was basically
that show is basically based upon just selling games.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, some parts did better and others did really bad. Like,
I really can't wait until I can't talk about Sonic X, because that does bring up a good point, especially with the last season. But that's a discussion.
It is. So, like, how about at least, what about the Sonic Boom? Like, how do you rate that, like, compared to the newest Sonic show real quick?
I would say Sonic Boom is still the one in my book.
It's okay, but I think that show doesn't exist anymore.
Boom?
Yeah.
It ended?
I think so.
No, it hasn't.
It's on break, probably.
No, second season starting in the fall.
God, it's been a while.
Boom it up.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Yeah, because, like, this show ended in November 15th. Damn, they waited a long time.
No, I know, but I found this out from TSSC News, I found this from Tails Channel. I found out a lot of things, and it's still going up, but I guess they're focusing more on the game, so that way it can get hyped up for the show.
Oh, that's right, because I forget there's going to be another Sonic Boom game.
That's just shocking that
Fire and Ice, baby, but we'll save that for later. So, Natasha, before we interrupted you, like, where did you rate it at again? Sorry.
I would rate SatAM, like, probably number 2.
Compared, what's your number 1 real quick?
Number 1 would probably be Sonic Boom, honestly.
Okay. I mean, I'll take it, because, like, SatAM is one of those shows that, in my opinion, it's one of the best cartoons.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion, because it did so much. Impact, in terms of sheer impact. But
look, this is saying a lot for me. This is saying a lot because of one specific character, but I can't base the show off of that character. Moving on.
Right. Don, what were you gonna say?
As I said, like the show came out during a time where like a 90s kid show back then was like the straight up cool, like the really good stuff, like DuckTales, Darkwing. Really good. All the really good.
Oh,
Saturday show. But it sucked because the show was going so well until it got canceled, and it left off on the biggest cliffhanger you can do for a show.
Oh yeah, like we'll get to that one thing. That's too painful to mention. Like there was one, at least before we get to that pain, let's mention one awesome thing for sure we all can agree about. this show completely it stomps on its Nintendo counterpart with the Super Mario Brothers Super Show because
Frank, are you
Adventure
really
of the
trying to?
yes, I will.
You
Oh
really,
no.
Sonic did it better than Mario, baby. I mean, you can't.
Are you really
say
trying to
that-
compete?
Yes.
Are you really trying to compete? No face Indiana Jones.
What?
You not heard about No Face Indiana Jones?
Oh my god.
What is that?
Look it up. The Super Mario Super Show. No Face Indiana Jones.
Look,
Dude,
man,
I
look.
remember that.
It's hard to argue about Adventure of the Sonic the Hedgehog when it comes to Super Mario Super Show in terms of like how similar in that how the Mario show kind of did a little bit better, but hands down, no other Mario show we've ever had because we only had like one come close to this show.
Excuse me, princess.
Oh,
That show wasn't even that good either.
I
no,
know.
that show was pretty fun. Get out of here.
No, Frank. No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't
They had
fun.
a
Oh my
sassy.
god, they
Hey, I
made
like
me
sassy
hate
Link,
Link.
man.
That's very hard. That's very hard to do for me. I don't hate Link,
Hey, Link was cool, man.
but that show made me hate him.
Well, hey, it's not like the CDI Link. So yeah, what man, what? Nintendo did that. Japan Nintendo, not American Nintendo. Japan Nintendo. American Nintendo wasn't that bad.
I don't think they were even involved for the Philips games.
I don't think so.
Well, no, I'm just bullshitting. Like they had
Oh
nothing
yeah.
for the Philip games. Like I don't, up to my knowledge, because there's no fucking way Nintendo would approve of that.
No, they
Nintendo has
It was a
standards,
no.
man.
Oh yeah, Link itself.
Why do you?
is perfect.
And why do you? Why do you think that? Like, why do you think Nintendo was so skeptical all of a sudden? Because like they've been very skeptical about anything with like movie and media crap with their video games.
Yeah.
Right. So plain and simple, American Link did okay. Japanese Link is always superior Link, but at least
It's
one
not-
time, well, 1.5 times since he was on Captain N show, he did an okay job. It wasn't perfect. It was okay. It was just there. It was
Fucking
better than fucking
Captain N.
Mario. I said
Shut up, Frank.
I really didn't like that show.
Go.
Alright, now
go.
finally, let us talk
Alright.
about the last big thing. Let's talk about the cancellation, which was so abrupt and so unforeseeable, and how such a horrible cliffhanger it had.
Yeah. So basically, guys, Saturday AM was supposed to have a it was supposed to have a season 3, but it never happened.
But I canceled.
And everything went down. The big final battle, Robotnik's been defeated, Sonic and Sally embrace the power of true love, literally. Like, figuratively and literally speaking.
Yeah,
the power
in
of
terms,
what's around
in
them.
terms of the show, that was a super form.
Yes, like, because they had no Chaos Emeralds. They still haven't put that in the show
That
yet.
I had to give. That's the thing I had to give props for the show. The show had nothing to do with Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah.
Because, like, man, as for most Sonic series, the Chaos Emeralds are used as the plot device to get Sonic the Edge to win. Not
I mean, two things I remember them talking about that they wanted to incorporate for the 3rd season. Sally would have another love interest, Sonic would have a major character change because of that. And the other thing was they were actually going to talk about Nicole's backstory.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, and because I noticed this, I remember this when I watched the show. They never talked about it, like she was just there.
Much like every other character that was there.
Yeah, but I mean, like in terms of Nicole, like for people who do know about Nicole, she kind of changed a little bit as when they incorporated in the comics. But with the show, yeah, she was just there like the king.
Yep.
So,
Alright, Frank, I think something.
no, we're not done yet. We're almost done.
It's just dubbed at the picture.
What?
It's
Stop
Indiana Joe.
Ah! This is why that show sucks.
This is Super Mario Super Show.
Nowhere near as good as the Sonic show.
Super Mario thing.
That and the rap intro.
Kill it with fire. Alright, so back on point. So there were a lot of things they were gonna dive into, and that we get to see a lot of that in the comics, which I'll mention in just a sec. Like, who's to know how things would have gone? Because like literally after Robotnik was defeated, Sonic and Sally finally, after their whole childhood of being friends, growing up together, big this little war, it's over. They kiss, they're happy, everyone's saved, happy ending, but no. Snively is in the back,
Yeah.
like, My time is now. Wait, do your impersonation again?
Yes, sir.
Now say, my time is now.
Wait, like how he says it? I don't remember how he says it.
Oh, just say, it's my turn now, or something like that.
Like, just like that, with his voice.
Yes. And
It's
just laugh.
my turn now!
No.
You sound more like a generic,
Let's not
like,
try to
evil
impersonate.
villain.
Yeah, I can't do it like that. I had a better attempt with...
Right,
yes,
so pretty much, Snively, he's laughing maniacally because Robotnik's done. Like, and
Yeah.
Snively is now pretty much the big honcho. And didn't he have robots with him as well, like particular special robots?
He
Or
was gonna have Metal Sonic.
really?
Yes, that was Metal Sonic.
I really don't remember, honestly.
At the end of it, like you saw the red eyes, like everyone was like, "Oh snap!"
Oh,
it's Metal
yeah!
Wait, Metal Sonic or Mecha Sonic or Metal
Sonic.
Sonic?
Metal Sonic.
It was Metal Sonic.
Okay. Ooh, that's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like, oh, that's right. We didn't mention this earlier about Snively, like his character type. Like, we only talked about the actor's roles, but like Snively as a whole, he was the lackey slash coward, like extremely cowardly. Like he thought Antoine was cowardly with a little bit of courage. This guy had no courage. He was
Snively
like,
was kind of like just there. He was kind of always scared of everything.
Yes, but
like he usually has this moment where like he has the advantage of like he'll have like his torturous face moment.
Right, and like when he finally saw that he was gonna be the one to take over, he was so happy because basically his uncle was gone
in his own special way,
and like he finally had a chance to shine. And yet we never saw anything like that again until years later in the Archie comics, which was a whole arc which unfortunately ended way too freaking soon. Which I'm still sad about that. Which was such a waste of time.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, with whatever they were going to incorporate for the third season, they kind of already flourished in the comics.
Yeah,
they had to.
Now let's talk about that part when it comes to the comic. Like, literally, the comics was between Sonic the Comics and Archie, this comic for Sonic the Hedgehog, were like the spiritual successors to this show.
Yeah.
And both kind of tackled many things from the show that we never got to see. Like, we saw what happened after Robotnik was gone, Nicole's origins, Bonnie and Antoine getting together, getting married, Sonic and Sally breaking up, which no one ever thought.
Multiple times.
Oh my god.
Which, granted, a lot of the things can be justified in some areas, but not much. We'll say that for later. And, like, we've seen, like, literally all the other love interests for Sally, multiple.
Yeah, but
like,
bad.
Like, no, Jeffrey was awesome.
Jeffrey was cool, but he wasn't for Sally. He definitely
You're right,
wasn't.
Monkey Kong was, man. Mr. Kong.
I preferred Monkey Kong for her.
Kong, I guess.
But you're thinking the ultimate love, Tuxedo Mask. Sally. Sailor Sally.
Hey, don't be talking about baby like that.
Oh god, but who was the other? Wait, actually no, fuck that. I'll talk about that later. That's too much. That's too much madness. But yeah, like almost everything and more, because like one of the things that they also like we're gonna get into, but we never got to see that they did in the comics again. Like, what were the other things, real quick? Like, I know there were some real brief ones. I just can't recall right now.
Oh, what they did in the comics that they didn't do in the show?
Yeah, like they were going to do.
They were gonna give Sally another love interest.
Right.
Gonna do Nicole's origin.
Right, which I said. Right.
And they were gonna, because
Tails' parents. That's right.
And also they were gonna talk about Robotnik and Snively's origin.
Yeah, like that too got covered. Oh, another one. A future after Robotnik's defeat of the world being brought back to normal.
Yeah, so
literally everything.
Yeah. So it didn't really die.
Well, it really did die. 2055.
Oh,
yeah. Genesis way.
Ah! Oh, okay.
But yeah, like literally, the comics were the spiritual successor. Many elements from the show went straight in there.
Well, I mean, it used to be the spiritual successor.
Right, until it became just whatever for game promoting. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it was, which I'm glad the comics did that. For the time they did, because like literally many fans were unhappy about that. Unconclusive show, but yet that's what the comics were for
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that we've finally kind of covered up almost everything we could talk about this show and whatever we can't talk about now, we're saving it for a future episode when it comes to Robotnik, Sally, and the Sega confusion, which it is a massive thing. Certain aspects of the show that continue in the comics.
Mhm.
That's all for the future. Right now, it's time for the final American Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon.
Oh, gosh.
Wait, does Sonic Boom count as it? Wait, who?
Kind of.
Is it?
Kind of.
Kind of, yes. It was made by a French company, but it still goes by the American.
Ah, I see. So for now, we're gonna dive into the final American-made '90s cartoon for Sonic, which unfortunately was the last. Up until we got like.
What do you
Sonic.
mean, unfortunately?
That's how they ended the cartoons for Sonic at the time. We didn't
Oh yes,
get
they
another Sonic
ended it on a
cartoon.
very flat note.
Right, we didn't get a Sonic cartoon to how long after that? Because
Well,
like,
do you see how we ended it?
unfortunately, no, I don't know the ending
You
of
see
Underground.
how we try to go back to it?
It's time
Yeah.
to mention it. We're gonna next episode is Sonic Underground.
God,
Shoot me
what the
now.
fuck were we
Shoot me now,
thinking?
please.